Hello guys, today I'm making a video for the biology paper. I know many of you have the biology paper exam coming next week, so I thought that maybe this video might help you guys just to attempt those questions in the exam. So please do subscribe and share this video. It will really help the channel a lot. And let's start with the biology paper. This is for the code BL1HB for the higher tier paper. It's just with the board AQA, so anything related, sorry guys, not AQR, anything related with the board AQA, I think it should be close to this paper. It's Unit Biology 1B1. It's a Tuesday 12 June paper, and it uses black ink and ballpoint pen. So your first question, that is 1A, they are asking you that painkillers, they do not cure infectious diseases. The reason why painkillers do not cure infectious diseases is because they don't kill any virus or microorganisms. So you can mention that painkillers, they don't kill microorganisms, right? They don't kill microorganisms. Now, next one, suggest two factors of the reason that could be matched with the drug. So the scientists compared drug X with two other painkiller drugs, drug A and drug B. In their investigation, the scientists chose 600 volunteers. So just two of the factors that could be matched. Now, two of the factors that could be matched in this question, it could be the age, and they could check the age gaps that could be matched between the volunteers, and they could check maybe the body mass, the age and body mass of each individual. You could also mention maybe the type of pain or the physique or medical issues in that cases. Now, the next question is that the graph, it results in the investigation of it shows us the investigation of how the painkillers are affecting people's bodies in terms of drug X, drug B, and drug A. So they're asking us how much pain did the volunteers still feel 4 hours after taking drug A. So the maximum amount of pain that they could have felt is in terms of percentage after taking drug A. So they're asking us still feel 4 hours after taking drugs A. So drug A, where's drug A? Drug A is here. So 4 hours afterwards, the pain that they will be feeling is coming maximum up to 75. So you can see that there's a curve upwards for taking drug A along with drug X, right? So they compared drug A with two other painkillers, drug A and drug B. So how much pain the volunteers felt should be maximum to 75%. As you can see here, 4 hours, that's a starting initial point. Next question is, give one advantage of taking drug A and not drug B. So taking advantage of taking drug A, I think there should be, it's a basic question, is that there's less pain involved. That's the most probable answer. There's because it's more effective. That drug A, the time it takes for the pain to decrease in pain is faster. So maybe you could mention that as well. The decrease of pain is higher if they take drug. Decrease of pain is higher, more. That's a benefit of taking drug A instead of drug B. So the decrease of pain is higher for drug B. So it's higher. Then you also mention that the decrease of pain is long lasting. Decrease of pain is long lasting. So that could be another mention category you can put there. Next question, they're asking, give two advantages of taking drug B and not drug A. Now, taking drug B, sorry guys, wait, this is, yeah. So for this question 2C, this is the answer for question 1C3. For 2, just like I said, the pain is less, right? So there's faster pain relief. So you can mention that as well, faster pain relief. That could be your answer for 1 mark. And then for the next one, it's actually decrease of pain is higher and decreasing of pain is more long lasting. So that should be the benefits of taking drug B instead of drug A. Next question. I mean, benefits of taking drug A and I mean the drawbacks of taking drug A instead of drug B. Next one is day. They're asking you to calculate. Are they asking any calculations? No. So drug X was much more expensive than both drug A and drug B. A pharmacist is advised to a customer that would be just as good as taking drug A and drug B instead of drug X. So now you have to understand this. Do you agree with the pharmacist's advice? This is more like a opinion-based question. You have either two answers. You could have whether you're going for it or you're going against it. So in this case, maybe in this case I'm just gonna say yes, because the rapid pain relief is from A, and then there's long-lasting pain relief. So instead of taking drug X, because it's unknown, right? So you could say that there is rapid pain relief from A, rapid pain relief from A. There is long-lasting pain relief from B. You could also mention, and it costs less, right? Maybe that could be a hint. So that could be an answer as well. It costs less, an answer for that many marks. It's pretty awesome. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Is they're saying that this is showing the process of the carbon cycle. I think this topic is coming for exam. So what you need to understand for this is X represents respiration. The reason why X is representing respiration is because respiration is where you can see in the column of microorganisms they're technically releasing carbon back into the atmosphere. They're not taking anything from it. And for the process of this for X, and for the process of Y, indirectly, it is the process of combustion. So these two is combustion because it's from fossil fuels when they're burned. So microorganisms, they respire and they put carbon back into the atmosphere, as well as fossil fuels. They're burned. When they're burned, they release carbon back to the atmosphere in the form of carbon dioxide. Now, describe the part played by the algae in the carbon cycle. So you can see in the algae, they take both the carbon from the atmosphere as well as they give back. You can see the two arrows that are in opposite directions. So this tells us that they give and they take. So it's making a carbon neutral process, I think. So it's most probably your answer for this question is going to be, see, the photosynthesis in the process. So algae use photosynthesis, is used to absorb carbon from carbon dioxide. You can mention CO2, but preferably in the exam you just write carbon dioxide as a whole word. So photosynthesis is used to absorb carbon dioxide indirectly, right? And the algae, they also release carbon dioxide. Just like I said, they release carbon dioxide when they respire. So that could be another point that you can write. So then when they respire, and plus carbon is passed on, then when animals eat plants. So that's a really good thing that you can write down. So the animals, when they eat the plants, the carbon is technically passed on. When animals die, the carbon goes back into the atmosphere. When the decomposing microorganisms tend to decompose the animal remains. Okay, so now in tropical rainforests, the process X is much faster than in most habitats. So now the process X, just like we said, is called respiration, right? The process X that you can see, it is respiration. Now you have to give the reason why process X is much more faster. So remember that respiration, aerobic respiration, happens due to warmer regions, right? This warmer conditions. Warmer, you can mention damp. This is for 2 marks. So warmer, damp, and humid conditions are in tropical forests. Humid conditions are in tropical rainforests. That's pretty awesome, right? So that we understand tropical rainforest conditions, right? Okay, so that's awesome. Let's move on to the next question. Next question is question 3. In this question, he will be assessed on using good English, organizing information clearly, and using specialized terms where appropriate. Plants and animals have been adapted in many different ways to reduce the risk of being eaten by predators. Describe these adaptations. Give examples of plants and animals that you have seen that adapted in ways that you can describe. For 6 marks, your marks, in order to score those level 3, 5 to 6 marks, you have to give a clear and detailed description of a range of adaptations of named animals and named plants. So you have to be clear on how most of these adaptations will help the organism to avoid being eaten. So maybe our first point could be camouflage, right? The animals, both animals and plants, and plants use camouflage. And plants use, that's one terminology you can use. They use camouflage to be less likely seen by predators, and more chance of being alive, more chance of surviving. So that's like your 2 marks, more chance of surviving, because you stated the point as well as you stated the description. Then maybe you could say that so like some plants, right? You can mention that some plants have thorns. I think that could be an adaptation. Have thorns or these spines, like cactus, right? It's a form of protection. And spines which are sharp and will indirectly and will hurt the predator. Let's just correct that word out. Will hurt the predator, making the chances of survival, making survival more likely, right? Making survival more likely. That could be our answer as well. Then you can mention that some animals have large ears. Some animals have large ears, making them more vigilant, right? So making them here detect the predator faster, and escape sooner. So these are some examples of what you can mention, right? You can also mention like some plants give out poisonous taste, and they look different as well. You can mention that as a way for them to hurt the predators and giving them more chances of survival. All right, and so your next one is question 4. Question 4 states that Charles Darwin investigated tropisms in plants. The students grew seeds until the short shoots had grown. They used black plastic to cover parts of some of the shoots. They put the shoots in light coming from one direction. They put boxes over the shoots to keep out other light. So you can see that there's a plant shoot, you can see some black plastic, and you can see the direction of light of the arrows being shown. 2 days later, the students took off the black plastic that covers and looked at the shoots. The diagrams shows the results A, B, and C. Now give 2 variables that the student should control in this experiment. So the student should control maybe the size of the roots, size of the shoots, not the roots, size of the shoots, and keep the same species of plant. The same species, like don't change the species of the plant. Same species of plant seeds. Those are some good 2 points that you can score there. Let's move on to the next question. Shoot A bent towards the light as it grew. So it bent more towards the light. Now the reason is because maybe it could be from plant hormones. They play a role. So there may be unequal distribution of hormones, right? Hormones and more hormone on dark side, which causes growth on dark side. So that could be your point there as well. And then your next point should be 4C. 4C states that what conclusions can be made from the results about the detection of the light stimulus. So the detection of the light stimulus mostly happens at the top, as you can see. So you can say that it's the detection in the top. That could be your answer as well. And for that's C1, for C2, you have where in the shoot the response to the light takes place. The response to light takes place. Now this usually the response is behind the tip of the plant. That's a fact that you have to remember. They also allow at tip and in top half. These are marks that you can score easily. Let's move on to the next question. Next question states that people may be immunized against diseases using vaccines. Which part of the vaccine stimulates the body's defense system? So which vaccine stimulates? Maybe basically the dead pathogen or microorganisms. That could be one answer. The answer for one mark is dead, and the other one could be pathogen for the next mark. So dead pathogen, that itself is scoring 2 marks. It's pretty awesome. Let's move on to the next one. A person has been vaccinated against measles. The person comes in contact with the measles. The person does not catch measles. Explain why. Maybe because the white blood cells they produce and release. You can mention the WBCs, the white blood cells. They release antibodies, right? They release the antibodies, and the antibodies are produced quickly. That's because they're already maybe immunized to the measles, I think. So the antibodies are produced quickly, and which destroy. And these antibodies which destroy the pathogen indirectly, like making the person not catch measles. Which destroy the pathogen. This could be your answer as well, so that's awesome. Let's move on to the next question. Is that they're stating that 5b, so man catches a disease. The man has not been immunized against this disease. The doctor gives a man a course of antibiotics. The graph shows the number of live disease bacteria in the body changes when the man is taking antibiotics. So once he's taking, as you can see, as the time and days increases, the number of live disease bacteria in the body, it also decreases indirectly. So this gives the hint. Like, what's the question asking? What's the question asking us to do? So the question is asking us, 4 days after starting the course of antibiotics, the man feels well again. It is important that the man does not stop taking the antibiotics. Explain why, using the information from the graph. So from the graph, as you can see, the live bacteria, it's still in the body. It's not gone yet. The live bacteria is still in the body and has a chance. Still in the body, and it has a chance to reproduce. So it has to be to 0. It's not reached 0 yet, because there's a 2% chance. As you can see, there's a graph. It's not touching 0. So the live bacteria is technically still in the body, and it would reproduce, right? It would reproduce indirectly, harming the person again. Now 5a 2 parts. So that's occasionally a new resistant strain of pathogen appears. The new strain may spread rapidly. Explain why is that the antibiotics treatment is ineffective. This is because the antibiotics, you can have to mention for 3 marks. The antibiotics is ineffective, and these viruses, they reproduce, right? These reproduce, making the chances, right? The population of resistant pathogens increases, making it difficult to remove it. Population of resistant pathogens, it increases. All right, that could be your answer for 2 marks. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, this next question looks fun. Okay, talks about jellyfish. So zebrafish are small freshwater fish that usually have black and silver stripes. Zebrafish can tolerate a wide range of environmental conditions. Scientists have genetically modified zebrafish to act as pollution indicators. The genetically modified zebrafish have a gene transferred from a jellyfish, and this gene allows the stripes of the zebrafish to change color. That's pretty awesome. Describe how the scientists produce a genetically modified fish. Sorry guys. So jellyfish, you have to know this answer. The jellyfish gene is cut out. That could be your 1 answer point. And reference, maybe we can get some enzymes are there at a certain stage. Enzymes are used, and the gene is transferred. the gene is transferred to zebrafish at an early stage. To zebrafish at an early stage of development, right? Early stage of development. So that could be your answer, is that the jellyfish gene is cut out and there are some enzymes involved at a certain stage, and the genes are transferred to the zebrafish at an early stage of development. This could be either in the form of embryo or egg. Okay. Next portion, 6b. 6b talks about some scientists are worried about the production of genetically modified zebrafish. Now you have to give reasons why, because they could affect other fish around them, right? So in terms of safety, so they could transfer this gene. Like I said, it could affect other species of fish around them to other species of fish, of fish. That's one point. Then this could have effects on the food chain. So this could have effects on the food chain, indirectly changing the whole ecosystem itself. So the effects on the zebrafish on themselves, for example, they may be out. There might be non-GM zebrafish eventually. Okay. That's a reason. 2 marks. They could transfer and they could affect other species of fish. They could affect the food chains as well. That could be our answers as well. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, the Galapagos Islands are the Pacific. Okay, are in the Pacific Ocean, 1,400 kilometers from South America. The type of bird that's called a groundfinch lives on the islands. Now the picture shows a groundfinch. That's a very awesome bird. The size of the seeds the groundfinch can eat depends on the size of the beak. So to eat large seeds, or the large beak is necessary. In the bar charts, it shows us the size of the beaks of groundfinches on one island in 1976 and in 1978. So these are the graphs. You can see that the number of groundfinches in 1976 is higher, with the beak size increasing with various lengths. And in number of groundfinches in 1978, as the year passed by, they kind of decreased a lot by these changes. Now maybe they might ask for an analysis stage. So 7a, they're asking the population of the groundfinch and the beak size change between 1976 and 1978. So the reason is, you can say that in describe these changes. In 1978, there are fewer finches, okay, with no beaks, with no beaks less than 8 mm. So there are no beaks also. You can mention that as well. There's no beaks greater than 11.5. As you can see in the chart 2 of 1978, there are no beaks that are less than 8 mm, and there are no beaks that are greater than 11.5, or you can mention 12 mm. Okay, so the mean average beak size is usually higher in this case. So 7b is in 1977, right? In 1977, there was very little rain on the island. The lack of rain affected the seeds that the finches ate. Table shows how the seeds were affected. So in 1978, the mean number of seeds was 8.5. Oh, it decreased rapidly. Suggest an explanation for the changes in beak size between 1976 and 1978. So now you know the reason, because since the mean number of seeds per meter square has decreased from 1976 to 1978, plus the mean mass of each seed had increased. Since that, you can mention the word variation, you can mention mutation. So birds with larger beaks, birds with variation. Because of that, birds with larger beaks. This word variation scores you 1 mark instantly. This 4 marks. Birds with larger beaks are better adapted for eating, right? For feeding, you can mention that as well. For feeding, then birds with larger beaks survive more. Okay, so birds with larger beaks, they survive more, and birds with larger beaks, they breed more. Okay, with larger beaks are more likely to breed together, passing on that allele for the large beak being passed on to their offsprings. Okay, that's your answer for that portion. Next portion is an ecological question. They're asking for 8. So calculate the percentage of energy in sunlight that was transferred into energy in the green plants. Show clearly how you have worked out. So you have to work out the energy that has been transferred to the plants. That is, in this case, 2.4 times 10 raised to the power, and transfer of energy divided by the energy that was previously before the green plants. So that's 4 times 10 raised to the power 6, as you can see in the diagram. Now, in order to get a percentage, the answer is in a percentage. So they're asking, you have to just do times 100. So I'm just going to put this in a calculator. You get 2.5 times 10 raised to the power 4 divided by 4 times 10 raised to the power 6. You have to multiply both these values by 100. You would get a value of approximately 0.6 percentage. This is your answer for 2 marks. That should be correct. Alright, let's move on to the next question. It's a 2-2. So there's 2 reasons why the percentage of energy that you calculated in part A was so low. Now, for this answer, you have to mention that some is lost through respiration. Some is lost through respiration, right? Some is lost through respiration, and you can mention that they're not absorbed, okay? They're not absorbed by the plant, or in this case, it's not absorbed, okay? That could be an answer, and you could mention maybe there are some limiting factors, the photosynthesis is inefficient, or there's some wavelength issue in that case. Let's move on to the next question of 8b. So compare the amount of energy transferred to the insect-eating birds with the amount of energy that's transferred to the predator birds. So just explanations for the difference in amount transferred to the 2 types of birds. So the energy that's transferred to the insect birds is 200, and to predator birds it's 15. Now the reason is because some parts of the insect may not be eaten by these predator birds. For example, they're less likely to eat maybe the scales. Some parts may not be eaten, right? And moreover, the predator birds are most likely to lose this energy through feces and through heat as well. So your first point to suggest reasons why there's a difference is that there's a difference in the amount of energy transferred to the 2 types of birds, right? Is because the energy is lost via feces, through feces. That could be your 1 point. Then energy is also lost through respiration, such as maintaining the internal temperature of the body of the bird as well. So energy is lost via respiration. That could score you 1 mark as well, such as movement, muscle contraction, heat in terms of that. And you can also mention that some of the insect eating bird is not eaten. Not all parts. Not all parts of the. You can maybe rephrase that question. Rephrase that answer and just say that not all parts of the insect eating birds are eaten by predator birds. Are eaten by predatory birds. So almost like, but eaten all, but you can mention more of all insect is eaten. So now, just most parts of the insect-eating birds are eaten, but in generally, predator birds, they don't eat all parts of the insect-eating birds. So indirectly, the energy is lost through that way. So this seems to be the end of the questions. There seems to be no questions after this, so it's a pretty small paper. But I hope so that this small paper and walkthrough will help you guys to be able to answer questions related to biology and ecology and organization, cell structure, painkillers, infection and response as well. But hopefully, I hope so that this video helped you guys on answering using correct scientific terminology and content learning stuff. Otherwise, if you do enjoy the video, please do like, share, and subscribe to others. Subscribe to this channel. It really helps the channel a lot. Otherwise, I think that's it, guys. Just enjoy the video. Right? Bye, guys.